Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Gift of Gaming podcast. And on this week's episode, I have no idea what we're talking about. Play the music. All right, it's me, your host, Darren Wade, and today I'm joined by my own blood and brother, Andrew Wade.
Hello, Darren.
And of course, the other less critical Nolan, Colm. Nolan.
Oh, I like the introduction there.
Yeah, is that okay? Because I don't have anything for
critical.
You. Yeah, less critical.
Right.
And we're joined today to kind of just chat about video games. And I guess we will start our conversation with me asking you guys, how are you? What are you playing?
Oh,
okay. These two polite gentlemen
just
here.
offering it to
Who
each other.
starts next?
Yeah, I suppose we kind of talked before recording there, but I've been playing a little bit of Pokemon Red, Fire Red. So
A little bit, Colm.
I'm off this week, so I've actually, I think I checked there, I have about 12 hours, but I only started on
Sunday
night.
Yeah, that's good going. By the way, this is being recorded on a Tuesday afternoon.
So yeah.
Nice. Enjoying it?
Very much so enjoying it, yeah. I think I needed a break from some other games that I had been playing that like kind of just, after a while, they just bore you. And this is like a kind of old, like, you know, yeah, everyone has fond memories of their first time playing Pokemon.
Yeah.
But for me, I've never played any of the Fire Red or the Leaf Green.
You're exactly the same as me. So I kind of, when the game came out and it was 20 quid on the Switch, I know Craig was kind of saying, fucking bullshit, it's, it should have been free on the Game Boy Advance section of the Nintendo whatever, and I was like, I can agree to an extent, but I knew Pokemon was never going to become available on those things. I knew they were always going to price us out of it. But for me and you, having never played Fire Red or Leaf Green, so you have Fire Red, I have Leaf Green, and we've set up a whole the podcast chat has now devolved into a Pokemon trading chat, because you have it, I have it, Chris has it, Craig has it, Kevin bought it or will buy it and is demanding, because it's his birthday at the time of recording, happy birthday Kevin, that he's demanding that as a birthday present we trade him all of the starter Pokemon, son of a bitch. But that's what the chat's evolved into, so it's nice. I haven't because when Craig said it to me, we were sitting down in his for a Smash night, and we're going tonight to have a bit of a trade, and there's a few more games of Smash, but he said to me, it'd be great, like we could sit down and trade a few Pokemon, like you have Leaf Green. I was like, yeah man, you should get Fire Red, we'll have a blast. I got really nostalgic about thinking of the old days of the link cable, Oh yeah. And I was hot shit in school because I had a link cable. It was
As did I.
Yeah. And
we're in the same school too, so we probably traded at some point. It's like, will we use my link cable? No, we'll use mine.
Guy? But so I remember going around and having the cable for I had a cable for 2 Game Boys initially, but then I got one of them four people cables as well.
Oh yeah, the splitter kind of one.
Yeah, the splitter one. So that was great. People were coming up to me, and I remember like strangers in the schoolyard being like, "Hey, mister, can I use your link cable to trade my Graveler with this guy's whatever?" And I was like, all right, that'd be £2. It's our own little business. But Andrew, before we get too much chatting into Pokemon, because it's a topic I'm eager to get into, what are you currently playing?
I am playing.
Is Arc Raiders on a break for you? Sabbatical?
It has to be. I'm old. My blood pressure is up, so I have to play non-stressful games for a while. Yeah. So Arc Raiders isn't allowed, even from my Care Bear lobbies.
I was about to say, like, damn, even your lobbies
are...
it's
still the looting and the I refuse to use that loot that doesn't start with an... What?
Gooping?
Ugh, that word. Yes, but I can't do it because it's even the looting and stuff is stressful, and I do find my anxiety starting to flare up a bit. It's like, okay, need calm, chill, relax game. So re-downloaded Skyrim, because we were only talking about that. I think chat who had the most versions, and I think I won with like 8 versions of the game.
Insane, yeah.
So I'm back.
Too many versions to own.
It is, but each one was obviously, I swear I didn't have like 3 versions on the run at the same time, VR at all. But yeah, back playing the PS5 Anniversary Edition. I think the most up to date one, kind of thing.
Nice.
So playing that, and playing a lovely little game called Astroneer, which has been out for, I think, like almost a decade now, and I've just picked it up there to...
I don't think I know anything about it.
You land on a planet, and you have to build up... It's almost like kind of a Factorio, but of a much more kind of cutesy, chill-out version kind of thing. Mm-hmm. Build it all up, get a spaceship to be able to fly to the next planet, which is just... It's all kind of like a la No Man's Sky. You go up into space, in no loading screens, and go off to the next planet and land on it. And it's just gather all the resource and try and get to the end of the game, and just visit all 7 planets.
So it's pretty chill.
It's been very chill, apart from running out of oxygen every 5 minutes. But yeah,
then not chill at all.
No, it's. I realised what I need to do. You put these tethers in. So if your main base, if you're beside it, you start getting oxygen like from a little tether line kind of thing. And if you go too far away, that disappears. You drop a new tether down. Basically, create like a clothesline, like a neon clothesline leading off in the distance. And that, as long as you're anywhere near, you get oxygen. but constantly going around like the little warning of you're running low on oxygen. Like, God damn, tether, fine.
That doesn't sound relaxing at all.
I would have just got straight onto Stardew Valley if I needed to chill out for a
I
while.
have burnt so many hours into that game.
Yeah.
I couldn't go back and do a fresh start on that ever again.
Every so often, like I've been lucky that when I stop and then before the next time I go back to it, there's been like a new update, and it's like, okay, there's like I might not even see it during this playthrough, but there's going to be something slightly different than what I've played before. So for Stardew, like the fact that all those little updates come out, and some of them are fucking huge. So I like, have you played it recently?
I played it recently enough. Myself and Claire actually played it and got really far into it.
Was there like a chocolatier?
The Hunter
DLC?
Chocolatier. No, that's an actual brand new game in itself. That's
another thing. He's kind of like George R. R. Martin. I can't imagine that
Yeah.
game ever getting finished. It's just been in development.
Every time he gets anywhere near doing this, like he jumps back into Stardew to put like, oh, I swear this is the last update, and they're great updates.
Yeah.
They go back to Hunter Chocolatier, and then like, oh, I'm doing another update for Stardew. It's like just do the new game. We're gone. We've got loads to do in Stardew.
Yeah,
But you'd hate my Stardew farm, Darren.
It's all efficiency and just barrels or something.
It is. And Claire was even looking at me as well. Like Claire does the whole like she go out, chat to all the people, get the relationships really high, and she come back to this farm that near automation, and it's. Now I haven't gone to JoJo.
You're one of them JoJo Cola fellas.
No, I did the what's the museum, the
library or a museum even.
Yeah, the one you put all the stuff into.
Yeah.
So I've done that. I didn't do JoJo at all, kind of, but my farm is still raking me in millions every day, kind of thing.
So I understand, because I mean that's the struggle of an aesthetic cozy game player. You know, I'm all about the aesthetics and I'm not about efficiency. It's not how I play those games at all. And I remember we were down in Craig's one time, a couple of us when Craig used to live, where Niall and Luke are living now. We were down there and we were kind of showing off. It was when the update was like, oh, we'll maybe start a farm, whatever else. And we were kind of showing off each other's farms. And I put my Switch in and I'm showing everybody around. I was like, here's a lovely pond. Here's a lovely fishing area I've set up in my farm, guys. And over here I've got this chicken coop with all these different...
my farm has no room for ponds.
Activities for the chickens, you know, so they can have, you know, real nourishment in their lives, all this kind of stuff. And I was showing everybody around. I was like, oh, it's so beautiful. It's so quaint, so whatever. And then Andy comes over, like, pushes me out of the way, slams his Switch into the Switch dock.
And the
like,
Garland bench.
Yeah, check out my farm. And I opened his farm, and his thing was like yours. It was just this, like, he walked into... He had one of them warehouses, the storage rooms, and you went in, it was just all these machines working to produce things. I was like, oh, this isn't my kind of Stardew Valley at all. How do you play, Colm? Stardew Valley?
Probably be kind of somewhere in the mix. Like I very much so enjoy, like at the beginning of the game, I don't really bother with the relationships. I actually, like, now that I've played the game so much, I think I do the relationships, but like I tried play that other game. Do you remember Coral Valley or...
Coral Island?
Coral Island, sorry. Yeah. In Coral Island, I didn't give a shit about any of the villagers or the underwater villagers or any of that shit. I was like, there's so many of them. None of them has any like character or anything like that. Like in that game specifically, I just didn't do any of the village quests, like talking to them. But Stardew, because I played it so many times, I feel like I know what rewards I get from who for befriending, and like you know what certain people like. And then they brought out quality of life improvements. That's like you can see what people like, and you know, like if they like certain things, or if you give them a shit item, then it'll tell you, oh yeah, you gave that to them and they hated it. So
so
like,
just don't do that again.
Don't do that,
so Stardew has a nice soft spot because everyone feels like a little bit more developed. There's enough people, but not too many people. And then even like every other year, a new character kind of comes in as well. So yeah, I think it's got a great flow to it anyway. But
Coral Island did feel a bit overpopulated at times.
Yeah, like I did enjoy the water stuff in Coral Island. I just thought all the villager and town stuff was just dog shit.
I played it, myself and Claire played that game because that's any cozy sims like that we'll play together kind of thing. But yeah we did. Again, she romanced the entire feckin' village. And they were all loving her kind of thing, and there's me like hiding off on the farm doing this complete total again industry.
You're a money ghoul over there.
And look, it paid for all the stuff she wanted to do, all the clothes she wanted to buy, all I want.
Just keep it on. I haven't played Stardew in a good long time. When did Stardew come out?
I couldn't tell you for
That's a
sure.
while ago.
It's a good long time. At least 10 years, I'd say.
Yeah,
I think it was 2012, 2013.
I was going to say 2014. Allow me just to check over here because I'm curious as to how much, like in terms of value for money.
There's one thing that's in that game that I'd love to do, and I know like as you guys play as well. There's an 8-player in it now, and I'd love to see the absolute chaos of 8 of us getting together to play
with shared money.
2016. Shared money would be awful.
2016.
That was 2016. Wow. That was I remember
was it with Andy?
Yeah. Now before we go on, because Andy was listening to the last episode you were on, Andrew, with Who were you on with in the last episode that you did? Was that you, me, and Chris?
It was me and Chris, and it was me and Dan, I think, the last two. Oh, no, Kev. Kev was on one of the episodes.
Kev, so Andy sent me in a voice chat. I think we were talking about Arc Raiders. It was the Arc Raiders episode, actually. So it was you, me, and Kev, and we were talking about Arc Raiders, and I think we dipped into Helldivers. And I got a complaint from Andy Garland. I think it's been a while since I listened to the voice message, but to put the record straight, Andy Garland was very disappointed in you, Andrew, for calling him a real, I don't know if it was like a liability or a real like PvP guy in Helldivers, like always causing. I can't remember exactly what you said.
The game, I'll just because the game, I played 3, maybe 4 games with him, and every single game, he lands in, murders Kev. Kev gets back up and tries to murder him. Niall murders Kev. Kev comes back in again. Andy walks over him in his mech, accidentally, of course. And I think Andy's catchphrase at that point was, "I'm better than you. My life matters more. Get back in line." And then proceeds to murder Kev for about 3 or 4 more runs. And there's me sitting there going, yeah, I stand by my words, Andy.
I'm interested to see what the next voice. But speaking of, in terms of what was the topic we were getting onto there just before I took a side thing?
Oh, it was basically something to do with Andy.
Oh yeah. So we started me. It might have been me, Craig, and Andy. Started a 3-player Stardew Valley thing, and we were all working away on our separate farms. And the moment we had enough money,
2,000 gil.
2,000 gil, he ran into the shop to buy himself the backpack. And I was just there being like, I'll plant some whatever, some sort of strawberry seeds now. They're the most thing, And I was like, do. And I was like, I wonder what I'll go. Wait, why is the bank empty? Andy, why have you got a brand new backpack? He's like, but he was immediately, I was like, you son of a bitch. That's
the industry coming into it there. That thing is, I need all the space in my inventory for the...
But that's it. No, great game. But in terms of... we're talking about Pokemon. We're going to do a little bit of a Pokemon trade now this evening, and I guess maybe our first topic of today's show could be a little bit Pokemon related. And my question to you, Andrew, because I don't remember when we were growing up, I had Pokemon Red, Graham had Pokemon Blue. Were you a Pokemon guy at all?
No. So you guys had Red and Blue, and I think I was playing something else at the time, and I saw how much fun you guys are having. I think I picked up Pokemon Yellow.
That was like a year or two after, was it?
Yeah, it was after the. It kind of died down for you guys a bit, and I didn't want to get the same game that you guys had, so I think I picked Yellow came out and I picked that one up. I loved it. It's my only reason I'm not playing it right now is I don't have a Switch. If I had a Switch, I'd be in there with you guys playing it.
Nice.
I mean, the last Pokemon game I played properly, I think, was what was the one you could go onto the. Was the GameCube? You could load your characters, your Pokemon into it and fight them.
Oh, that was the N64 and Pokemon Coliseum.
Was that
Stadium?
That's the last proper one I played.
That was fucking
N64.
great.
That was great.
And you could do the triple time speed when you played the game on your TV.
Yes.
Just a standard emulator function that, by the way, that the Fire Red and Leaf Green does not have, which is fucking ridiculous. But anyway, sorry.
But so the Nintendo 64. So you've been out of the Pokemon realm for quite some time.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't necessarily mind that all that much. I mean, like I play Pokemon Go, so I'm kind of up on the newer Pokemon. I tend to avoid them to play because the names are just ridiculous on some of them. But like, I love Pokemon. I just don't have the console requirements to play at the moment.
Yeah, reasonable. And Colm, you were like me. You were like a true-blooded Pokemon Red.
Yeah,
right?
I wasn't. Well, in fairness, I was out of default because what happened was Craig had Pokemon Red and then he was playing that and I think he cleared the game, and then somewhere along the way I just really wanted to play the game too, and then his birthday happened to come across and he got Pokemon Yellow, so just de facto kind of Pokemon Red passed on to me.
Nice.
And I was delighted. But then very soon after, Kira, my sister, she's like a year in the difference between us, she got Pokemon Blue. So then like the three of us all had it. Craig had the superior game, which was you get Bulbasaur, Charmander, Squirtle, and you get Pikachu following you around. So like that on its own was like the fucking coolest thing in the world. Like just Pikachu following you around, which now looking at is like, this is shit and annoying.
Terrible. yeah. And you had to keep turning around to see if he was your friend. So like, yeah, Pokemon Yellow was the one that, of course, that followed the anime a bit more closely in terms of its storyline. But it's funny. I was typing the episode stuff, like, because anytime we're doing an episode, I'll type it into my list to see, see where we're at, what episode we're on, etc. And I typed it in, and one of the bonus episodes that we put out a while back was me and Craig did an episode, and it was basically Pokemon is awful, like Pokemon is shit, like we weren't having fun with Pokemon at all.
New Pokemon, was it like that?
It kind of essentially that we hadn't gotten anything good from Pokemon in a long time. But as I mentioned in the last episode, and I was talking about it at the start of the episode a little bit, I got into Pokopia in a big way. And when I say I got into, I am still very much into Pokopia in a big way. But it was nice to kind of settle into a Pokemon game with a decent narrative, and I say decent like that, there's not a huge narrative in the game, but it's pretty. I think it's quite special, quite different. Not something that I was expecting. But I turned on, so I've been playing loads of Pokopia, and certain areas, so there's like the Withered Wasteland, there's Rocky Ridges, there is Skyland something or other, but they're all places based in Kanto. So the Withered Wasteland is, I think, Route 1 or Route 2, so on your way to Vermilion or to Viridian City, essentially. It feels like, anyway. It doesn't say specifically. And then, of course, Vermilion City is in there with the SSN, so there's all of these kind of things that are very much related to the OG Pokemon games. And when I switched on Pokemon Red, like Fire Red, the other night, when because I only turned on last night, played it, caught a couple of Pokemon, that was it. But I sat in it and I was like, the nostalgia, I just got like, it was really weird. I don't know if you ever get that feeling sometimes where you sit down playing a game and it really reminds you of like a time in your youth. And I remember we had family over to the house years ago, Andrew, we were close to Christmas, and we had pulled in like the other settees from the sitting room into the main space. And I remember sitting there with my Game Boy Pocket is what I would have had. Graham had a Game Boy Original, I had a Game Boy Pocket. I remember sitting there with my Game Boy Pocket playing Pokemon Red and like really loving. And like, again, I caught a Mankey, caught this, really loving my team. And I was in bed last night playing Fire Red, and I was like literally put right back into that position on that couch close to Christmas. I was like, whoa. So I am in. I've never played Fire Red. I'm into it. And I was only talking to Craig recently. To me, this is I feel like I'm getting a whole new reset for Pokemon, in that there's a thing called Pokemon Home, which is where I haven't registered for it yet, but I think it's a thing where you can register your Pokedex into it. And there's some Pokemon games that exist there, like online ones, whatever, that you can take those Pokemon out in and maybe battle, or at least it'll just show them in a in a 3D way type thing. But from all your Pokemon games, you can log your Pokedex into this thing, and that's your collection. And to me, I guess, I probably agree, Colm, that Pokemon Fire Red and Leaf Green being released for the Switch probably means that Heart Gold and Soul Silver will be down the line, and so will the Ultimate Editions of Black and White and whatever else. So I have a funny feeling that we're going to get them all. And I was playing the game last night being like, all right, Darren, strap in. This is you starting Pokemon all over again. Because I would never have played Heart Gold or Soul Silver. You've probably, I'd say the three of us here, Colin, you've probably got the most experience with Pokemon.
I definitely do not. I think Ruby was the last proper game I played, so I didn't play any of the remakes. I played obviously Gold and Silver when they came out, and then after that I think it was Ruby, Sapphire, and then there might have been one more after that I played and either cleared or just forgot about. Like for Alligator, for example, is he the third generation?
He's possibly third. I don't think he's second. But in terms of, I would have gone, I did Red and Blue, and then I moved on to, because Red and Blue, then it's Gold and Silver, right? Or is it
Red and Blue, Gold and Silver? Yeah,
Gold and Silver, and then after that it is Gen 3 is,
I think it's Ruby and Emerald. No, it's Sapphire and Emerald. Yeah, but I think Ruby and Emerald. No, Ruby and Sapphire. Yeah, and then
Red and
Emerald and Pearl.
Nice. Okay.
Pearl was white.
So so if you
can't remember them,
have you played any of the? I'll see if it here. Pokemon Generation. Oh, I guess the games list.
When they went to a more 3D look, I definitely wasn't involved for any of that kind of stuff. And I remember watching Craig, I think it was, playing Arceus or whatever.
Arceus.
And he was like going around on the Pokemon that's a motorbike, and he was like, "Isn't this cool?" I was like, "That's fucking shit."
So that was, I think that's Violet and. Oh god, I get it here. Scarlet and Violet, I think, is that one. Yeah. That's the one that Craig was saying. That's the one that I had no time for, because graphically it looks like absolute dog shit.
Is it 3D and you like use that like motorbike kind of Pokemon?
There's a Pokemon that you got these two Pokemon. One of them is Scarlet and the other one's Violet, and they're just motorbikes. And I was like, I hate the look of this, because the open world was crap and everything. But no, the last. So I would have done, I think, up to because I'm getting the generation. Because if we go through the generations of them, let's just have a look. See in any particular order. We have got Red and Green, of course, and Yellow. Generation is Gold and Silver, with Crystal as the third one. Then we got Ruby and Sapphire and Emerald. Then it was Diamond and Pearl. Then we got Black and White, X and Y. So I think I played up to about Black and White.
I think I got Pearl. I had Pearl.
Because I don't remember X and Y. I don't remember Sun and Moon. And then we got into kind of the next. So I missed about 2 generations. And then I came into Sword and Shield, which was like in 2018, 2019. And that was the one on the Switch. But that was such a baby game. Like I remember, and don't get me wrong, Pokemon games aren't necessarily difficult. I wouldn't say that I've had any sort of major difficulty, but in terms of, there was a real enjoyment to, like, catching Pokemon wasn't straightforward in the older games. You had to weaken them, you had to paralyze them, whatever else. But I played Sword and Shield, and I was walking around that world being like, oh my God, like give me something, make this challenging in any way, shape or form. So I went to that game and just finished it, and then I had a really bad taste in my mouth, because then after that we got Scarlet and Violet, Arceus, and now I guess we're waiting, or then Legends Z and A, and we're waiting for.
Well, we haven't actually got a trailer for it. It's just like a fucking almost like a Final Fantasy trailer. Like,
are you talking about Winds and Waves, the brand new one that just
the one that has just released trailers of just non-gameplay stuff, and it's like trying to make it look really dramatic and big, and I'm just like, this is gonna be shit.
Yeah,
I can almost guarantee it.
Show gameplay.
Yeah,
but we saw the people running around the world again. It's kind of like, and I think Kevin said the same thing, that it's the art style is what is putting, I think, a lot of us off the games as we get older. It's not really an art style that appeals to maybe older gamers, because it is that kind of like cutesy 3D.
Well, it didn't put you off playing Poketopia or whatever.
Man, you play as
you look like a little Naruto character running with your arms behind your back.
But you're a
so
Ditto.
silly.
That's the greatest thing about it. You're a Ditto who's trying to look like he's human, and he looks goofy as fuck. So it's not like the whole kind of like, what would you say, the 3D models of the characters that we have now, they're all quite bland. I was playing as a Ditto that looks so dumb, and when he's talking to, like, there's a professor, he's a Tangela of evolution that I'm not familiar with, but he's kind of like your go-to guy to ask all your questions with. But any time you can turn the camera around and your Ditto main character stands there like scratching his head with a big dumb face on him, and it gives me so much joy just to watch him interact with the world around him, because he is, and you learn in Pokopia, you learn abilities from other Pokemon. So when I first found a Dragonite, that Dragonite was able to teach me how to glide, which made getting around the levels like way easier. But I become a Dragonite when I transform, with the exception of my head, which is still a really stupid looking dumb Ditto head, and on a Dragonite body that looks fucking hilarious. And then I found a Lapras who was like, I'll teach you how to swim, and then he changed into a Lapras with a big dumb fucking Ditto head on it, and I was like, this game is excellent, like, you know. So yeah, it's a real goofball game. And it's funny, like, because you like Stardew. I don't know if you were a Minecraft man at all.
Yeah, I didn't like get mad into Minecraft. Like, there was a lot of updates, like horses and all, and I stopped kind of playing when they brought that in.
Yeah,
I just didn't understand how to go about it and never cared to learn. But for a while, for a good few years, me, you, Andy, Lauren, probably Thomas and a load of other people would just be playing on the Xbox 360.
Yeah,
and just
4-player modes when we could.
We'd all have our own little projects and stuff. I was building like a Japanese castle / dojo.
Yeah, Lauren was doing Hogwarts.
Yeah. And I think, was Danny Costello there? I vaguely remember someone saying Danny Costello blew up a world.
We had so funny. We had a server. We had an online Minecraft server. That we all, your wall, Jesus Christ. And there was this great thing of like, everyone has their own, we had this area that we all kind of like flattened out and made for ourselves, like, let's all build our things. And my whole thing in Minecraft that I always did was I always found the closest village with villagers that I could, and then I would protect it. That was my goal. I'd go in and save the villagers from zombies and spiders and skeletons, and then protect it, and then kind of beautify it. So I'd like upgrade all their buildings and make the place kind of like sustainable, and that it would be producing good stuff for me as well. So that was my whole...
Oh, that's the real agenda. Hey.
The mayor stepping in, getting his payment. But that was what I did. I had this lovely thing. And at the same time, then we had two guys who, it was quite funny at the time, like, probably would have been quite like annoying each other maybe, and like they were building too close to each other, all that kind of stuff. And one of the lads, John, was giving Danny a hard time because... I can't remember how exactly it started, but I think Danny had like a whole enclosure of chickens and whatever else, and it was never proven, but Danny was kind of certain that maybe John had let these chickens or whatever out, and Danny was fuming. And I remember I was just like playing away there, like, beautifying my village, and then we're all on a chat, like we're all on mics, and then Danny was like, well, John, this is what you get for blah blah my chickens. And I was like, what's going on? So I ran up to where like John's house was, and it was just covered in TNT blocks, and Danny had this real like derpy looking skin on his character, who just looked at me with like a trigger button or whatever, or the platform thing, and blew all his shit up. And which was quite like, that time was quite funny. But then I remember then you arrived, and this is classic like fucking industrial Andrew was like, we have this beautiful kind of thing going on, all of our houses and our projects.
I'd like to point out that a lot of work went into my place.
Yeah, it was just a wall, Andrew. It was just this giant, really ugly wall.
Trying to keep the immigrants out, are you, Andy?
Well, they were blowing each other up and stealing each other's chickens. What was I to do? Sure. No, but like they had as Darren said, they had this like, their aesthetic was great. It looked like a full working village. They paid little paths leading to all the different houses, so it was fantastic. So I just moved just far enough away that they couldn't see what I was up to. And then I got like, was it
well, until the wall was tall enough that we could all see
until it went above the
to.
tree line, and you could see what it was. Yeah, so I built like out of marble, like pure white or yellowy marble thing, the whole wall all around, proper like fortifications if it was a full-on castle, and built a castle inside. But anytime you go to a village, it looked beautiful until you turned one way, and just rising above the entire tree line was this massive fucking white fortress. I was like, Andy, take that down. I was like, no, it's my fortress.
It was awful. It was so, and like I would put in, but the funniest thing about that, like just to finish on that server, was we actually were like, we're going to play we're going to like finish Minecraft, because I had always just logged on, you know, we'd do late nights and these after college, whatever, we'd play loads of Minecraft, and the lads were like on the server, we were like, no, we're going to finish Minecraft, let's get a credit roll. So we went off, we did the whole thing to get all the ender eyes to find out where the nether dragon was, and we went in and we defeated the nether dragon, got a credit roll. It was really cool. We were all there with bow and arrows. It was really intense. Some of us died, some of us made it to the finish. It was really cool. And afterwards we're like, well, it was that kind of thing from South Park. It was like, well, what do we do now? It was like, we play the game. So we went back to building stuff, but then it was like, no, this is wither dragon that you can summon. It's another thing you can defeat. And I was like, okay, well, what do you need? So we went down. He took this tunnel deep under our village where all our houses were, and he built this thing deep down, and he was like, I think if memory serves me, you have to get these things and put them together, and if you do this and click them all here, it summons the net. And as he was saying that, he put all the things down, and he summoned a wither dragon underneath our base, which just flew up and destroyed everything.
If you
and
can
we're all there
a
like
reverse meteorite, basically, it just went from the bottom up and just took everything out the
Did
process.
Danny know exactly what he was doing?
yeah, he's that kind of player, like, you know. But we all were like scrambling around, like screaming, like with our bow and arrow, trying to defeat this wither dragon, and it destroyed everything. And I remember at that point I looked around and I was like, well, I've had my fun and now I'm not playing this game anymore. But the reason I bring up Minecraft, fellas, is because you enjoyed Minecraft, because I haven't played it since then. I haven't really touched it. You, Andrew, you really enjoyed Minecraft.
I'm still playing Minecraft.
And if you enjoy Pokemon, this is such a nice, chill, like it's such a great combination that I'm surprised wasn't done before now, like this kind of world building sandboxy Pokemon game, because there's such character of the Pokemon in terms of finding out what their habitats are, getting the right items to build their habitats, and waiting for them to appear, and then using their abilities to help you with other things. And just
do you think that might have been why Nintendo went so hell for leather against the Palworld creators?
No. Palworld was just an absolute rip-off of Pokemon. That's why they went after Palworld.
But no, like I know, yeah, to be fair, they're using the assets and stuff, and a lot of them are eerily similar kind of thing. But I think the open world aspect to it kind of thing, which Pokemon hadn't done before that.
No, I don't think they were. I don't think it was anything to do with Pokopia. I think the reason that Game Freak or Nintendo went after Palworld was because it was as close to Pokemon as you could get without like
being Pokemon,
without legitimately like just.
But they were pals,
I always
not
thought
Pokemon.
that would have been Digimon, like Pokemon, Digimon. I was always just like, that's just the most like slanderous kind of thing that they could just do. They're like, yeah, we'll just do our own thing.
Digimon kind of had a cyber aspect to it though that I think was enough to get them away. I mean, Pal would just say, "Oh, we gave them guns. That's what makes it different." But I remember seeing when it was all the rage and everyone was giving out about, not say giving out, but everyone was talking about the legality of it and the fact that Nintendo had come in to sue them. People were putting up pictures because I had no
silhouette.
I had no familiarity with any of the pals in Pal World, but they were putting up pictures side by side of some of the pals and their corresponding Pokemon, and it was almost a 1-for-1. But they just changed its name and its color scheme, and I was like, this is pretty bad. You can
even say like obviously I don't know any of the newer Pokemon, but I mean I can spot all the old Pokemon playing Power World. It's like, oh yeah, no, there we go. It's
there's Charmander over there, you know, with his 99 Magnum or whatever else. You know?
There's a Raichu look like, I'm trying to remember what his name is, but they've just basically increased his girth thing and given him a minigun.
Nice.
But when you look at it when he's there, sounds like that's just Raichu.
Yeah, no, but to me that's why they went after him, because that was like with Digimon. The Digimon were quite different. They had a weird evolution thing where they turn into
they evolve and then de-evolve and all that.
Yeah,
kind of stuff.
so it was different enough. Whereas the Pal World thing was, I mean, listen, hats off to the guys for doing it, because I think to me, Pokemon had it coming. The Pokemon company had it coming from a gaming IP perspective, because they had been so lackluster in their video games that it was kind of like, here's your just desserts, guys. Like, you know,
that's
if you're not going to take
they were just, as I think you and Craig had mentioned several times in the podcast, is that they just kept the same, they just rehashed and reskinned the same thing over and over, and just be like, well, add two things in here, but it won't be the 2 things you want. But it'll be 2 things just enough to get to buy the game. And then the next time we'll add 2 more things. But it won't be the ones you want, but it'll be just enough to make you think the next game we'll have what you want.
It was just extra, most of the time it was just extra Pokemon and not the graphical upgrade you wanted. But when I saw the Power World getting, because it was such a moneymaker. Like Power World made that, like the devs, the devs, I couldn't believe how much money they were making from it. And that's where Nintendo was like, well, excuse me, this is our game. It's like, well, it was your game until you actually sat on it for years and did nothing. So I'm hopeful for Wind and Waves, because I think in that trailer of it, they did show not like pure gameplay, but like the characters running around the world and what I assume are the kind of in-game graphics. And this is the thing. This is where I'm like, that looks really good for a Pokemon game.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean it looks amazing. It's just good by Pokemon standards, which is an improvement, I guess, but not much. Would you have any interest, Colm, in playing Wind and Waves?
See what it's like when footage comes out for it. At the minute, it's a dead no, but I mean, if it turns out to be a big surprise, then cool. Like, I'm sure a lot of people will be highly anticipating it and they'll be blowing it up bigger and bigger, but like a lot of games that come out with a lot of hype behind them, they sometimes fall very short of the mark.
What we expect or what we hope from them.
Can I ask a non-Pokemon related question?
Of course you
never.
can.
Damn it, I'll just leave so. Did either of you pick up Crimson Desert?
No, that's another game I thought had a lot of hype to it, and then when I looked at trailers and stuff, it just looks kind of
terrible.
Did you buy it?
No, a mate of mine got it, and one of the lads I work with, and he was telling me, "Oh yeah, I can't wait to get it," and I pre-ordered it and all that kind of stuff. I said, "Do you know what? I'm not going to pre-order. I'm not going to get it on day one. I'll give it a week and just see what the reviews come out." Because up until that point, there hadn't been any PS5 footage. There'd been PS5 Pro and there'd been PC, but there'd been no like standard console footage for it, and there'd been no real reviews. There was an ongoing review by IGN, who are currently running at about 7, but it's IGN, so I don't trust the thing that comes out of them at this stage. But didn't get it, and then reviews started coming through. I was like, yeah, it looks beautiful, but I mean, the combat is terrible. Oh, it looks beautiful, but the story's non-existent. It looks beautiful, the NPCs aren't great. It's like, so it looks beautiful.
From what I've seen, it doesn't look beautiful. Like water and stuff, like water close can be nice, and waterfalls just look fucking ridiculous.
But I think if you're playing it on like a high-end PC or the PS5 Pro, apparently it looks nice. On everything else, it looks dog shit.
Yeah, that's the only problem with it. So, I mean, this is the thing. I think the internet can be harsh. I think when we saw this game, and I was like, from the get-go, I was following this. Anytime they had like 3 kind of trailers about what to expect from the game and everything like that was in the couple of weeks leading up to it. So I was following it really closely at the time, and to me, it felt like too good to be true, and I think the best review I've heard is that it's a jack of all trades and master of none of them, because there's so much in the game. But what I will say is there was a guy who, and it was only just on a YouTube short, I can't think of his name, but he said he spoke to one of the devs from Crimson Desert, from Pearl Abyss, whatever the group's called, and he said it was kind of explained to him that his expectation should be a sandbox open world game and not necessarily a story driven action or PG. And he said because of that, because he was told that and kind of that's what he was expecting, he has settled into it and said that this game is great. Like he says it's got loads of issues with its control system, like in terms of, for PC players I think it's massive. But I did hear that to do a normal attack, I could be wrong here in this, maybe it's different for console, but for people who are using PC with a controller as opposed to mouse and keyboard, to do a standard attack, you have to hold down essentially R1 and R2. Like that, those 2 buttons together are your standard attack, which is crazy to me. Yeah, like dog shit control system. But what they're saying is that a lot of this it will be patched. They've come out themselves, the devs, and said, we're doing our best to, like, we're listening to you, we're trying to fix it up. So to me, I have a feeling that this game in 2-3 months' time could be a real enjoyable experience. Aside from the narrative seems to be the soulless. Cliff seems to be the soulless character. The narrative seems to be the soulless thing. But supposedly the devs were trying to sell this thing as a open world sandbox action game that you go out and explore things.
In the trailers, then, as opposed to making it seem like this big story-driven Cliff and his Greymane friends all taken out and his path of revenge and stuff like. So it's none of that. It's just
that's in fairness, that's the story trailer. Their reveal trailer and their release trailer were just him flying around the world and all sorts of mad stuff. But they did have a story trailer, which they recommended you probably shouldn't have had a story trailer.
Any game that comes out with a story trailer, you assume has a story, and then this game doesn't really have a story.
Did it appeal to you at all, Colm, in terms of what you saw prior to what we know about it now? But I mean, we say what we know about it now. It's sitting at something like a 70-something on Metacritic. So from my experience, it's a grand game.
It's something I will pick up when it goes on sale.
Yeah.
But I've no interest in picking up full price. It's like 80 quid, like whatever it is.
It just kind of looks like this is off the footage. Like when people described it to me of what it could be, I was like, oh, that could be a great game coming forward. But it didn't really work out that way, obviously, from what we've seen. And I'll just try to think there. Actually, give me a moment.
Gather your thoughts. I really want to, because I have it on I have the PS5 Pro, and the Pro has been updated as of, is it this week or last week, with the new PSSR 2 system in the Pro, which means that it's even improved. I'm not a technical brain on me at all, and I tried to watch a Digital Foundry YouTube episode on what that actually meant, and I didn't really follow it, but essentially it's kind of using upscaling to improve on kind of noise in games and like stuff that clipping or stuff that kind of maybe shades weirdly in lighting. But they showed it in terms of not necessarily Crimson Desert, but like Final Fantasy VII Rebirth and how much better that looks. That Silent Hill F game that had loads of issues supposedly on consoles now looks clean as. So I'm kind of sitting there, I'm like, if my PS5 Pro is now better and Crimson Desert, because it's meant to be run okay on the PS5 Pro, but if it runs even better now on this PSSR 2, it's a thing that I'm like, I might just get it in a couple of weeks or months' time when a few updates have been made for controls and things like that, just to see, because technically people are saying it's a masterpiece in terms of the map is huge. The world, for the most part, I know, like you said, waterfalls don't look great, but like I was even watching a Digital Foundry video of how water reacts to things. So you can be at a beach and water will literally, like, I was watching a clip from Expedition 33 the other night where they were fighting that big tall stick dude in the water. I can't think of his name, but basically you're on a small spit of land, and in that fight the water is just rising and falling on this island, but like graphically it's just coming above it and then going below it, but there's no water flow. Like it doesn't work in terms of the physics of the water are completely incorrect. It just rises and falls. Whereas I was watching this video of how the water would, when it was like tides are coming in and tides are coming out, the water was reacting to all of the individual rocks. It would react to.
They mentioned, I think I don't know if it's the only game to use it or it's the only game so far to use it properly. In most games that has water, except for like rivers and stuff like that, the water will run. It'll be like a template of water running a certain direction, and then they'll change that template around to make it move a different direction. So it's basically one template, and it makes it look like the river is actually following curves and stuff. But this game actually does it. Whatever way they do it, the water actually follows the course of the rivers, which is it looks gorgeous in that regard. But then I say it hits a waterfall and all of a sudden falls apart completely.
Yeah,
like,
I've seen
water goes
even
everywhere.
the damage you take from touching off a waterfall, and it's very funny looking.
Yeah,
like it's not meant to be funny, but it is.
Yeah. It's like,
but I think, did you guys, because to me it strikes me, and like this is where I worry that I might not enjoy it, but there were people who I spoke to, generally speaking, about Zelda, Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom, and that like the storyline for that game was great, but there's lots of people who love the fact that you could just traverse the world map and see whatever you wanted, whenever you wanted, and it was kind of up to you. I think people who really enjoyed that from the Tears of the Kingdom should, in my mind, really enjoy Crimson Desert, because it's this whole thing of like, it's all of it's open to you. Essentially, go out and explore and see what happens.
It's Skyrim as well. Skyrim had that as well, where once you leave that cave at the start of the game, you could just explore the entire map. Like,
so I think you'd enjoy Crimson Desert.
I think I would, but I wanted to drop in price, and I want a few more. I want a few more updates to come out for it.
I think. Sorry, it's very easy for me to say that as a PS5 Pro owner, I'm guaranteed a decent looking game. I don't know if it's a guaranteed.
It's not.
Good runner on PS5.
The thing is, they showed a clip of what it was looking like on PS5 and Xbox. Yeah, Xbox. I think it's Series S.
Series S is their lower powered one.
Yeah, and it looks god awful on that. But they showed it on the PS5. The problem was they showed it on YouTube, and YouTube doesn't go to the full kind of level of
4K. But you're going to lose quality.
But I mean, it didn't look great. I mean, like PS5 Pro looks very good. High-end PCs looks very good, but standard consoles, not so much. It looks almost like Skyrim nearly looks better from a distance.
Damn.
But when it zooms in, you see obviously Crimson Desert is a thing, but it's I think it's not for PC players. Sorry, Colm, are you going to jump in?
I was just going to say, like with regard, like kind of comparing it to Skyrim, when I saw it and the clips I saw of it, I very much so was thinking Assassin's Creed, like even the combat and stuff. I was like,
it's the rolls and the combat,
it's just the way like everyone surrounds you, maybe one will attack at a time, kind of thing, and you're just going to counter, and so on. So like, I like the Skyrim stuff was a little bit different. Like obviously it's just first person or third person, but you're just running around swinging a sword and axe, or you're using your bow, a bit of magic and your powers, you know?
Yeah.
So that's all fine. This game, I don't know how I feel about it. There could be a lot of cool things, as you said. Like the idea of it is a bit futuristic, and you're still dealing with like Skyrim-esque enemies. That's fine. But like what I've heard is that basically the first 8 to 15 hours is like a tutorial, and then after that you've learned all the mechanics of the game. So that sounds very in-depth, and I don't know if I want to get into that. But if
8
it's
to 15 hours of a tutorial sounds fucking insane.
yeah, and then after that, it's supposed to open up for you a lot, whether that's your abilities or whatnot, or lack of story. I'm not 100% sure, but like that's what I've heard, and the same people I've heard it from are like, if I have to play 15 hours of a game,
just to enjoy the game.
Yeah, it's like, this is not a game for me.
Yeah.
I get that big time.
Because like some games you can play through the entirety are 15 hours long. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Never mind having to get 15 hours. So I think their focus seems to have been in the world that they created and not necessarily what inhabits that world.
Yeah.
I think is their problem. But before we move on to or continue on with our discussion, I want to like use this time to prop in my usual Patreon stuff. I'm on holidays after this week. I'm going away for 2 weeks, so there will be no episodes. So if you're like, oh man, but I really want to listen to the Gift of Gamer podcast, well, you need to go to patreon.com. So I want to let you know about over at patreon.com/the Gift of Gaming. For less than a coffee a month, you can hop onto our platform where we currently have over 100 post shows for you to enjoy, from video gaming battle royales to thoughts and opinion pieces on the here and now of gaming, and even extra news episodes every month. There's so much for you to enjoy, all while helping keep the lights and mics on here at the Gift of Gaming podcast. And on today's post show, I'm going to be asking Andrew and Colm if they could have one remake given to them, what would it be? So check out patreon.com/the Gift of Gaming for our growing library of video game content. There it is, fellas. I did it. I did the thing where you should shoehorn that in there, promote our shit.
Nice.
Proud of you, Darren.
Yeah,
Plug that shit.
Yeah.
Plug that shit. Going back to just Crimson Desert there. Were you ever, in terms of what you saw from the beginning, were you one of the... Because I think what's really fucked them a little bit, because I think their shares dropped massively. Like, that game got like 7s and 7.5s.
Dropped by 27 point something percent.
Crazy.
Insane, like.
For a game that got like good reviews. Like, the game wasn't reviewed badly, but people were just disappointed that it wasn't a 10 out of 10, which seems a little bit harsh. But do you think that it was just overhyped to fuck by people?
I think they saw a little bit of the whole No Man's Sky style, kind of hyping the game up loads at the start without really explaining what the game was. So it set people's expectations off as to something. Everyone was expecting something. No one got really what they were expecting. But your man, you were saying, who knew it was an open world sandbox kind of.
Yeah, there's lots of people. I mean, I can't remember. There's a group that I listen to, and kind of funny, but a friend of theirs has given it a 9.5, and it's up for there. And he'd be like a gaming journalist, should have been to be up there. 9.5, and he says it's game of the year. But again, in saying that, like we're all saying that, but we haven't touched it. Do you know what I mean?
But
I think it could really be for some people, and it might just not be. For me, I'm the narrative guy. I get into games for the story. It's why I struggled to kind of finish Zelda. It's why I think Crimson Desert might not appeal to me, because when I got into Breath of the Wild, I was like, look at this big old open world, and I disappeared from the storyline, and then was like, I don't like this game anymore,
but that's
and
the
then
thing as well. Like,
lost it.
When I saw the Flying the Dragon thing, like there was a game came out. I think it was on PS2, maybe PS3. Where you were a dragon rider, and you landed down, like, you murdered troops on the ground, kind of. It was almost like there's wars going on down below you, and you just like land in as a dragon and murder the shit out of people. And I thought, oh, that looks really similar to that. That'd be a really thing. But people that might be the only game they want. So you get into that, they're going to love that aspect of the game and give it really high scores. But I think if you're going to score a game, you have to score it on the entirety of the game, not just the parts you like.
Yeah, big time.
Absolutely,
So,
yeah, big time.
People could be saying, like, hey, it's a 9.5 because it does this one thing that I really love. But it's like, yeah. But what about the other 99 things? Are they? Yeah. If you don't really love them, then it can't be a 9.5 because they're part of the game you're reviewing.
Yep.
So
like, I wouldn't give Final Fantasy VII Rebirth a 9.5.
That's fair. I don't think I would.
And
either.
I'd say that game deserves a 9.5 far more than Crimson Desert.
Yeah. Well, when you think about and even if the narrative's a bit crazy, when you think about Rebirth, it seems to be a far more concise game. And I say that it's like a fucking 100 hours to finish the storyline without going through all the extra shit. Yeah. But even then, it seems like a more concise game than Crimson Desert.
That's the thing with the problem with the scoring now. Anything, if you see a game for like 5 or below, it's considered like absolute trash kind of thing. But I mean, 5 should be the standard.
Well, so this is the thing that annoys me about video game reviews in general. For me, a 5 out of 10 is an average game. Like, in my mind.
Yeah.
Someone said to me, I'll give this game a 5 out of 10. If someone said Crimson Desert says it was a 5 out of 10, I'd be like, oh, cool, average game. Like, I mean, might be fun, might not be. And anything above that, I think you're getting good. 6 out of 10, 7 out of 10. Then it makes the 9s and 10s seem far more important. But everything, to me, it seems, across the board, is afraid to give anything lower than 7 out of 10 in most cases. We're kind of in this thing where we are literally on a 4-point system: 7, 8, 9, or 10 out of 10, and everything in between. And to me, I think that's completely wrecked. It's like why everyone's going fucking nutso at Crimson Desert, because it's gotten a 7.5 or it's sitting at an 8 or whatever on my Metacritic. I'm like, that's a really good fucking score.
Yeah. But like 7.5 I think is a fine, like it's a good game, because there's some games out there that have been reviewed poorly but have gone on to get great acclaim by fans alone, like Fallout, what was it, Fallout 4, no, New Vegas, for example. That was a big deal at the time, where it was supposed to get 80%. If they got 80% or higher, they get a bonus from fucking Bethesda, and then they got like reviewed at like 78 or 79, and they weren't given a fucking cent off them. So it's just like a prime example of, like, you know, you're saying there, like, you need to hit a certain quota, and then again, like later on, that has become one of the more beloved of the Fallout games, and they didn't get their bonus, and at the time it was like, oh well, you didn't make a good enough game, you know,
you didn't hit that arbitrary fucking number out of 10. So I think, you know,
sorry, the other thing as well with that, Darren, is like, if you're talking about like a 5, I know you're saying that's an average game, but I wouldn't be willing to buy an average game for €80.
Oh yeah, of
if
course.
It's reviewing at a 5, regardless of how good I think it could be if I get it.
Like, in the perfect world, the prices will be based off the reviews.
Yeah.
So if you have a game, the things that like 5 out of 10, you'd be paying 40 quid, 35, 40 quid for it, kind of thing. And maybe like
I wouldn't even pay that though. Like, if you're talking about 1 out of 10, like, €10, nah.
Whatever way you have it, like for every half a mark up, there's an extra 5 quid onto the game, to the point that like it maxes out at say like 60 quid.
But then you'd start getting dodgy dealings going on, where like the other way people send out review copies, they're like, hey, here's a few quid, just give us a better review, we'll get more money, you'll get money, and it's like shady business.
Like in the perfect world, it should be done like is the review score is the price score.
I think you should, because one of the things that we talked about, because we haven't really, like, when we talk about our games club and we give reviews to whatever games every couple of weeks, be it Arc Raiders or be it I think we did did we do a Stardew Valley episode?
We definitely did at some point.
So like those games, we kind of doing it quite casually, but I think one of the things we talked about before, when we were talking about how should we write these games, like what are our concepts, we all kind of thought, or myself and Craig especially thought, like, money, like bring the cost of the game into it, because Arc Raiders is a 40 quid game. I've got 200 hours in that. Like, I have gotten such bang for buck from that game. Pokopia, I rate it quite highly, because even though it cost me 70 quid, I definitely feel like I'm getting my bang for. I'm sucked into that game. I think it's a really good, well prepared game. Now, would I rate Pokopia as high as Arc Raiders? They're very different games. Hard to tell. Like, as a cozy whatever game, Pokopia gets rated really highly up there. If we're talking about them as pieces of work or art in the gaming realm, I think Arc Raiders is a much better developed game. It's more impressive that what they're doing for the price they're charging, yada yada yada. But I think when we're listening to like IGN or like My Guy's Kind of Funny, I'd love to, because they have like a 10-point rating in most cases, and you can do the 0.5s, but I'd love to know, like, do you take the cost of that game into account? But they can't, because they get them all as it's all free copies for them. But I'd love to know if because they'll know what the retail price is, and I think that's the part that I struggle with reviews in general that I'm listening to, is like, you guys got that for free, so I think the rating is always going to be slightly higher, because you guys didn't have to fucking pay anything for this game, whereas us is kind of the standard consumer.
Level of bitterness if it doesn't turn out to be good for you.
Imagine if I paid 70 quid for Pokopia and I hated it. I'd be like, I could have gotten so many fucking better things for that 70 quid in my life than this, you know? So there's a huge risk versus reward issue for the standard consumer, which is why I think it's really hard to pay close attention to reviews today, because I'm like, they got it all for free anyway. That's going to be a part that they won't.
Not even that as well. It looks at the likes of IGN. I mean, their reviews are awful.
Didn't they get caught like blatantly just ripping other people's reviews as well? I know a guy got fired for that, but I think it's been a consistent thing with them, you know?
Another person's review, change the score slightly.
Allegedly.
Well, I think I remember seeing the side by side things. I was like, oh yeah, that's 100%
that's literally, he just changed the title and the score, and that was it.
But I think the problem, again, this is the thing as well, I think and I'd say it's difficult to tell because I'm not in the IGN realm, but I think it's really important to take on reviews of people who are playing similar games to you. For example, with Kind of Funny Games, really big fan of them. There's a guy on their team called Tim Geddes. Tim Geddes loves Final Fantasy games, loves Kingdom Hearts games, and those kind of... I'll pretend I didn't hear that call. But he's a person whose opinion I'm very interested in hearing. And I think it's important for us as gamers or consumers of video games to make sure that we're listening to the people who have the same sort of or their opinions line up where they like the same games that we do. Because if I go and listen to an IGN review of fucking, Jane Doe, John Smith, who I don't know what they like, and they're reviewing Kingdom Hearts 4 and they're like, this is a 4 out of 10 for me, awful game. I'm like, oh shit. But I could play that and be like, I fucking love this game because it's a thing that I'm into. That's the part that gets a bit. I think us as consumers need to do a bit more research into what reviews we're listening to.
One little point on that though, Darren, is imagine the opposite was true. Imagine you were reviewing Kingdom Hearts 4 and someone who's not mad for Kingdom Hearts starts playing it. Like I remember when Kingdom Hearts 3 came out, I went down to yours and you were playing it.
You watched me play the start of it.
I was watching them play it and I was just like, this is great because Darren's getting a great kick out of this. But there was multiple times while you were playing, you were like, do you want to take over? I was like, no, man, I'm okay. And the main reason for that was because I was looking at the combat and half the combat for you seemed to be you just standing there while your fucking carousel fucking summons were going around doing shit. And I was just like, I don't know what the fuck's going on here. This is so removed from what I know of Kingdom Hearts.
And in fairness, in my initial playthrough and excitement of that, I was just so happy that Kingdom Hearts 3 was here after so many fucking years that I was kind of like, whoa. But like, I remember because you could turn those animations off, or you could turn their frequency of those things appearing on your, because you have your like attack magic item box, and when you did a certain grouping of things, you always got this prompt for the Disney rides, they were called in that game. But the prompt is coming up way too frequently, and I remember like when I was like maybe 30 or 40% through the game, and I'd accidentally click on that when I went to attack or whatever else. I'd be like, watch this roller coaster again.
Knights of the Round Table kind of.
Go on for ages, like, but yeah, that's definitely, and in hindsight now, and knowing that like I played Kingdom Hearts 3, I really enjoyed Kingdom Hearts 3. I really enjoyed, let's say, the start of Kingdom Hearts 3 and the end of Kingdom Hearts 3, and I felt like not really very much happened in the middle. And I can say that now, having gone through the series, I think if I would put the main lines in order, it'd be 2, 1, 3 being the worst of them, not taking into account anything else that exists out there. But I think,
of which there is a lot.
Yes. But I think like that, I would hope that someone who was considering, who loved Kingdom Hearts, would be listening to me and be like, this guy gets it. Do you know what I mean? If I went, and I might buy Kingdom Hearts 4 and review it, and I would like to review it honestly and say I've waited fucking how many years for this, at this stage 7 years we're going on,
regardless of how bad this game is, I'm going to love it, essentially.
So for anyone listening to the podcast, in case you haven't realized by now, Darren likes Kingdom Hearts.
I love it. But I think that's the important thing with reviews. And I think with Pokopia, there was, again, it was people on Kind of Funny who went to review Pokopia, and one of them was Joey, this girl who loved Animal Crossing, and Tim, Greg, they both loved Animal Crossing. And so I was like, cool, they were into that game that I'm into, and they were talking about Pokopia, and they were like, fucking love this game. So straight away, like, I didn't hesitate. I bought Pokopia day one, I think, after I heard these reviews, because the embargo lifts the day before release, generally speaking, the embargo and reviews and things. So you kind of get flooded with reviews the day of or the day before. And I remember listening to them being like, great. But since then, I've listened to other people talk about Pokopia, and most people are quite praising of it. But there's people who play that game and try to put hours into it who have no love for Minecraft, who have no love for Animal Crossing, who have no love for cozy games. They're like, not for me. It's not a great game. I'm like, but it's a brilliant game. It's just not for you, and that's the part that people need to pay attention to.
It's the not for me part. Okay, that's where it ends then. It's not for you. Don't bother rating it because it's not your kind of game.
I have like a little thing kind of on reviews as well, and we were talking about like some games, like you could get a review, and regardless of what it is, let's say it's an 8 or it's a 3, it doesn't matter. But if the game takes you 10 hours to clear, like there should be some kind of, that should be taken into account. Like if it's getting a 3 and it only takes 10 hours to complete, that game should be less than €10. Like it should be one of them €5 or free to play kind of things. And then if it's an 8 but it's only 10 hours, you should still be maximum like 30 quid or something like that. And like what stuck in my head halfway through this podcast was back in the day when do you remember, did any of you ever play Pokemon Snap?
Yeah,
it's the Pokemon game where you just take photos of Pokemon while you're on a rail, and it's great fun. Like it was fun.
It's a legitimate fun but that's the thing, fun for a certain age group. I think if you ask me to play Pokemon Snap now, I don't.
Oh yeah, probably not. But like at the time, I paid £50 for Pokemon Snap, and the same day I bought it, I cleared it, and I got everything, and that was one day. And I just remember even then just being like,
the fuck?
Like, can I trade this in somewhere? Like, there's no CEX back then either. It was like very much so, right? You have this game now, just deal with it or trade it to your friend, or like there was no other kind of like in or out with that. So like Pokemon Snap, anyway, that's just one of those things. If I can clear this game in one day, it shouldn't
Should
be
not be paying
full
that
price.
price.
And I think the problem with the industry now is that everything is real. Like, we need to know immediately about this game. So Crimson Desert's a game that's like probably in terms of like Rebirth, like a game that's 100 and something hours to really complete or to get into it. Most people who got the review codes, whatever else, might have gotten it a week beforehand. They probably haven't been able to put 100 hours into the game prior. And like, you can't. Whereas us, we're doing games from games that are fucking years old because we don't give a shit. We're not being paid by anybody. It's just kind of what we want to talk about. So we can look at this game in a much bigger, fuller circle than I think a lot of the review people can, because they're coming up in like you said. So a game that's 40, 50 hours. Well, I played 10 hours of this game and I'm not really into it, and blah blah blah. It's like, but that's not the game.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So there's an aspect of like, I'd love to have reviews, but the problem is that you have to be the first to put out the review. You have to be the first to get those clicks. You have to be the first to get the views. So people put them out. But I would love for this situation to be like, reviews will come out a week after the game comes out, because the reviewers who might only get it days or a week in advance need loads of time to play it, and we get a review that's based on how much this game cost, how long it took for us to finish it, and how many hours we put into it thereafter, or if we didn't put any into it. And I think for us as consumers can listen to that and be like a bit more well informed, because one of the things I thought was crazy was that, again, and you're right to a degree, you're saying it shouldn't take 10 or 15 hours for me to get into a game. But like that,
when other games you can clear in less than that time,
and love the whole thing, absolutely. But I think there's potentially an argument to be made for Crimson Desert, where it's like, well, ours is a slow, long game. That's the point we made for it. And those people who came up with reviews who did put like 60, 70 hours in before the review embargo lifted are speaking really highly of it.
Yeah.
But they're so few and far between. Whereas all those people who I only could play 10 hours. I could only play 12 hours before the review.
Yeah. The people that persevere seem to like it, but the people that just can't deal with that initial
or don't
commitment,
have the time,
time
and that
patience.
really affects what we're seeing. We're like,
but that's the thing. If you have a review system, like if you see, like, say, Metacritic or IGN or whatever, like if you see the score they're giving it, you don't really see why they're giving it that score or what dropped the really. They might give a quick brief thing. Oh, the graphics weren't great in such a place, and that's why we gave it a less thing. There should be like how would you say, like a cost of the game, time to complete the game, or time to get them all involved in the game, graphics, whatever else, like narrative, whatever,
and maybe,
and then get an average off all those, and people could then see what they actually get. Like, you see the price, what they rate of.
Because if that was you to do all that, you'd be like, gameplay of Pokemon Snap. Loads of fun, 8 out of 10, loved it. Time to completion, very short game, only going to give it a 3 or 4. Cost £50, absolutely fucking outrageous for the length of this game. 1 out of 10, and that's where you can get a build a better. As you said, you take the average of those scores, and you're like, there's your game.
See where the breakdown of the scores is, as opposed to just that's a 7. Why? Well, because we said so. Yeah,
and there's one other thing. It's slightly off topic, but just in the sense of, the way in the past, if a game was really good, it would sell just really well, and that's just what would happen. But, and this is the thing that I have like a question, and there's possibly 3 answers for it, but I'll ask you both anyway. And the question is basically, what do you think happened to platinum games? Do you remember, like, if a game sold over 1 million copies, it would go platinum. The price would reduce. You get a little platinum cover on it, and it was just like,
which I will say ruined the covers of some games.
If for some of the games, you didn't want that cover anyway. You swap it out if you could.
Wipeout 2097 did that, where like the original cover art was the piranha ship on the front cover. It looks fantastic, beautiful colors and stuff. And then the platinum came out, and it was just platinum, completely grey with the etch of the ship and 2097 and on. I was like, this is terrible. Like, it's just
as a concept, like whatever, like the box art, because that's not even a thing anymore.
Sorry, that was me. That was a hot take by me.
But like, go for it. The box art, like, most people don't buy games. Like, to buy a PlayStation that has a disc reader, you have to pay extra now. Like, it's not just standardized anymore. So the fact that, like, when you go on the eShop or what console you're using, especially Nintendo, but like, there's no, like, I know PlayStation and Xbox and all might have deals, but like, are those games that sell really well, are they just ending up on like the PlayStation Plus free games to play for the month, or are they
do you know that? I'll go really quick on this one, because I think it's more of a case of now with those games, how many they would have sold, which would have made them platinum, is a low ball figure now for games that are sold these days, because there's so many more people playing games. So if you said like, oh, if this game sells 1 million copies, it goes platinum. Whereas now a shit game will sell 1 million copies in no time.
Well, I don't know if
it's lifetime it could,
But that's the thing is, like,
but a game is judging its success nowadays by the immediate effect of its like sale date. So like, I think the games that get onto your PlayStation Plus things are like, so for PlayStation they released kind of like a classics thing that you got when I picked up the PS5 initially. I got 20 games for free essentially on my standard PlayStation thing, and these were PlayStation classics. And by classics I don't mean old games, I just mean like God of War was on there,
Prime one,
Ghost of Tsushima, and I think, or Horizon, all of their like kind of real stalwart, sold well,
hitters kind of thing,
sold well games. I think the problem is that the games to get onto the store probably have to strike a deal with Sony. Like, there's no longer a thing where, like, if you want to be, it's the thing about the video game industry that sucks right now is, and the problem you can talk about. Yes, it's cool that some of these games come to PlayStation for cheaply, which is, well, great, cool. I can play, if I have the standard whatever, I can play Horizon. I never had to buy it. Wonderful. But PlayStation are looking at a dynamic pricing on their PlayStation Store now, which is if you play loads of a certain type of game. Let's say if I played fucking God of War Ragnarok, potentially the next God of War can do one of two things, because we don't know what they mean by dynamic pricing. This third God of War, because I have like so many hours in and I platinum this one and they can read all my stats, that third God of War will do one of two things, and I'm thinking it's probably going to be the more nefarious thing.
The Oasis Ticketmaster kind of style
exactly.
thing.
They're like, oh, we can make it cheaper for this person because they love this game.
That won't be it.
That won't be it. It'll be more expensive for me because I'm a much bigger guarantee of someone's going to purchase it, and they might make it cheaper for those people who have never played the game and they say this is an easier thing.
The more you play a game, the more expensive it's going to get to play the future games.
So the problem with the industry right now is that it's so much about the bottom line that, and it's such a pity because like the whole platinum idea back in the day really kind of rewarded industries or like studios. Like, you made a fucking great game, platinum, sold loads, here's all your accolades, you're going to sell bonkers, and we're going to take a $5 off the game.
Yeah,
you know, and for us it was great. Like, you know, growing up, it was like
as a consumer, you're like. Fucking...
I always remember the Gran Turismo Platinum. I can't remember which one it was. PS2 Gran Turismo one that we had, and I remember getting that cheaper than when it came out, and I was like, wow, you know, this is so cool, little Darren playing Gran Turismo. But like, that was a really cool thing. You won't get that now, and I don't know what it would. I'd love for, because that just seems so much more. Real. Everything that they're doing about selling video games now, there's a real disingenuous side to it.
It was just a great way to get your foot in the door, especially back then. There wasn't nearly as much coverage on games, so like word of mouth was a big one. So if you heard like I got Beyond Good and Evil and Kingdom Hearts on Platinum, so it was £20 or €20 at the time, and that was like great compared to whatever the standard price back then was, 60 or 50. But yeah, just being able to like fucking get your hands on these games when, like, you know, like it could have cost you an absolute fortune, and then you play it, and like the likes of Kingdom Hearts, playing that for the first time, seeing all your old Final Fantasy characters just getting thrown into a world, not knowing what the fuck is going on. Like,
20 quid,
that was
20
amazing,
quid you ever spent, Colm.
And like I know they still do deals on the PlayStation Store or whatever console like shop you're using, but like I think Nintendo's the worst for this. Like, any Nintendo branded game is
never coming down in price.
Even if it's fucking from like 1997, it's like still like
full price.
What's it called? Zelda Ocarina of Time. If you want to buy that now, it's probably like 70 quid or something. It's like, well, get the fuck out of here. Like,
that game's old. Old game's old, guys.
I could buy a Nintendo 64 and that game for the same price. Well, maybe not.
My hope is, we'll finish on this because we're on time now at this stage, but my hope for the video game industry is that, because it's really bad. Like, I mean, I listen to lots of news that's going on to do the news episodes for this podcast, but also because I'm just madly interested in the industry as a whole. And the industry right now is fucked. AAA gaming is on its knees. The cost of producing video games is crazy, but it's all gotten out of hand because it was this thing whereby, you know, likes of PlayStation or Sony and Microsoft were coming in to buy all these things, buy all these studios, and with immediately demanding excess it was essentially excess profits on what was deemed reasonable.
We bought you, now give us an absolute bestseller,
or we'll close your studio.
And it's biting them
close it anyway. But, you know,
it's biting them in the ass now across the board. And my hope is that I think things will continue to get worse, but I think at the end of it all, I think we'll probably end up in an industry that's probably way more sustainable going forward, with less of a we're doing this for the shareholders, and more of a these people have great creative abilities. The art that we see in video game is great, and that's what we're going to make them. It's going to be less for the profit, because like games will make them money, but it's not going to make them millions. But everyone's out to be we have to make fucking millions from these games. Like, that's not how it should be. That's not how art should ever be considered. It's like, if you can make a profit off it, fantastic, but it's important to get out.
Shouldn't be the idea.
Yeah, exactly, which is where we've gone. So I think things will continue over the next like 5 to 6 to 7 years to get a whole lot worse. Hell, the whole world could be blown up by then. Who knows? But I would hope that, my hope is that for the industry, when I'm in my 40s, will be a much better space for studios. And when Andrew is dead and gone in the grave,
I will be a dust ball in the wind.
Colm, thank you so much for hopping on this episode and talking absolute shit for
smack talking. Yeah, it's been a while, but thank you for having me.
And Andrew, of course, thank you for hopping on.
I'm just going to say No Man's Sky, just get it in there because you went so long for Kingdom Hearts stuff.
Just for the record, Colm brought up Kingdom Hearts. I didn't bring up Kingdom Hearts, just so everyone's aware.
You went for it.
Of course. If you're interested in listening to more, myself, Andrew, and Colm will be hopping on a post show just to talk about remakes a little bit. You can find us on patreon.com/the-gift-of-gaming. And to our listeners, as always and forever, keep enjoying the gift that is gaming. Peace out.